Hello there. Welcome to the Dr. Grant Show. In this video, I'm going to share with you the real reason your back hurts and what you can do about it. Hey, for those of you that are unfamiliar with me, my name is Dr. Kirsten Grant, and I know that a lot of people out there are struggling with back pain. It is one of the most common issues that people have, and it can be really tough to find a solution that works for you. But in this episode, I'm going to share with you the real reason your back hurts and what you can do about it. So stay tuned because this is information that you definitely don't want to miss. It's not something that comes around every day. It's often overlooked, but is ever, ever so relevant. So before we dive deeper, let's get into the key points. Number one, if you're struggling with back pain, especially if you're an emotional eater, stress eater trying to lose weight, you are not alone. It's a very common health problem all throughout the world. Number two, there are many different causes of back pain, but there are some causes that are more common than others, and we'll dive deeper into that. Third, back pain can actually be reviewed and looked at and addressed and reduced in its intensity in different ways. We'll be diving into identifying the psychological holes in your bucket that could be contributing to back pain. We'll be talking about ways that you can address those psychological holes. And also we'll be talking most importantly about nurturing the body so that your back pain can stop preventing you from having the life that you want. Okay? This is what people are unaware of a lot of the times, that there are many ways to actually prevent back pain. You don't have to be afraid. And just with a little bit of effort, you can actually get back to feeling like yourself and living the life that you were always meant to live in no time. So let's get into expounding upon these points, okay? Like I said before, you're not alone. Back pain is one of the most common health problems throughout the world, all over the world. Some people in my digital wellness practice that struggle with emotional eating and stress eating often complain of lower back pain, or they'll have mid back pain. What people don't realize is back pain is actually comprised of several backgrounds and causes ranging from a just straight arrow physiological reasoning, but also there are other reasons such as psychological and bioenergetic reasons. So if it is physiological, that's often very easy, but what people are unaware of and often blind to are those other two areas that I mentioned. Now, as I mentioned, there are different causes for back pain, and some causes are more common than others. For example, in my wellness practice, one of the things that I always like to ask people about, aside from their sleep patterns, is do you have any pain? And it's not my intention to treat or prescribe because that's simply not my area of scope, but it is my intention to educate what contributes to it. So if it's something very simple where, oh, maybe we just haven't worked out in a while and all of a sudden you lift something heavy, that's an easy thing to educate a person on. But for a person that is dealing with a lot going on in their lives, that is an entirely different reason that contributes to back pain. You see, often in my digital wellness practice, where we work with emotional eaters, food addicts, as well as people that are looking to lose weight, back pain is often your body's way of speaking to you and sharing with you certain things that need attention. Now, there are three ways that we can go about taking a look at back pain so far as it being a subtle signal. The first step in this is to, number one, identify the psychological holes in your bucket that could be contributing to back pain. Back pain in the lower and the middle back areas are often signs that your body is trying to speak to you, because once again, the mind speaks in words. It's easy. The body speaks in feelings and sensations. So back pain is often your body's way of trying to let you know you're carrying too much. So the next question needs to be, what are you carrying? What am I carrying in my life right now that when I sit down and step aside from what I feel I should be carrying, that for me and my personality type, it's too much? Asking yourself is the most key thing, asking yourself that question, and you'll begin to get a lot of answers. Step two, bind the psychological holes in your bucket. Once you ask yourself, and once most people ask themselves that question and give themselves a chance to have an honest answer, then that's where the true work can begin, with beginning to tease apart what the true problem is in their lives, giving them the psychological as well as the energetic tools to handle these things, to help reprogram the mind. Some things can be just very simple, from saying no without guilt when you're already overtaxed and already overburdened, to deep diving into what caused you in the first place to feel like you could handle this load and this burden that's showing up in your body, and your body is saying, I can't take anymore. My back, and my spiritual back and my energetic back hurts. Third step is to nurture the body. You nurture the body through the right foods, and one nurtures the body through the right movement and fitness. It doesn't have to be this long, drawn out thing that you find yourself sweating over that you don't enjoy. One of the main things in the body that's so important to nurture is what's called the fascia. The fascia is like an interweb that's going throughout your body, and the body literally can calcify. This fascia can literally calcify if not taken care of. And how do we take care of the fascia? Through proper food, through proper nourishment, and constant movement. So never let a day go by where you don't find some kind of enjoyable movement that you could partake upon. This is about more than having good posture. This is about more than popping a pill to mitigate the pain. You don't have a pill deficit. You have a problem deficit that's going on in your life, and it has become exasperated to the point that you can't find a way around it anymore. And the load and the burden is making your body throw up the equivalent of a flare and a signal to say, enough. And once again, the body speaks in sensations. And in my digital wellness practice, we help many people that struggle with emotional eating, food addiction, actually become more aware of what is blocking their performance. Because the food that they're consuming has very little to do with calorie count. It's very little to do with a lack of fitness. There are research studies that show that. The food that they're often consuming, or their weight challenges that they're working with, usually are because of something going on in their lives that's wobbling. It's wobbling their resolve. It's poking psychological energy holes in their bucket. And what this does is that it takes away and weakens the resolve that someone would have to embrace the healthier behaviors and to embrace fitness and food. If you're completely tapped out and your mind and your energy levels feel like you just endured a marathon, there's not enough gas in the tank to pick foods that nourish you. Most people find themselves gravitating towards the foods, the Pop-Tarts, the cookies, the cakes, the cheese-laden pizza item, because it feels good. It gives your brain a hit of dopamine. But what if we could help plug the psychological holes in your bucket? What if, and imagine, visualize how your world would look if you were able to learn how to navigate the challenges that you often experience that cause you to feel physically and psychologically overburdened? We provide a holistic, integrative, and functional approach to wellness, especially with corporate clients, that are in managerial positions, because they're not only leading themselves, they're leading people. And leading people, that's the heart of an organization. So, what if your leaders, your managers, your directors were completely in the clear, not only psychologically, but physically as well? If they have the energy psychologically, because we help them clear out whatever their blocks were, whatever their blind spots were. For example, I had a client that was absolutely terrified of speaking. And he had the hardest time just getting up and standing in front of people to speak. The result was he would have terrible back pain. And it wasn't until we sat down and chatted did he begin to realize that the back pain occurred at the exact time that he was scheduled to present in front of people at his job. He hadn't made that connection before because he was too immersed in the problem. After we started working together, he began to uncover where this fear of public speaking came from. It came from interactions with very well-meaning, very well-intentioned parents and family members. Because when he was younger, he used to speak with a very slight lisp. And he became self-conscious about that. And perhaps you can relate. Maybe you've had a time where when you were younger, you spoke with a slight lisp, or maybe a stutter, for example. And although you no longer speak that way now as an adult, somewhere deep inside, if you're subjected to a public speaking engagement, the first thing that pops up is, am I going to revert back to that kid, that version of myself that used to stutter? It's things like this that when you have someone that takes targeted, dedicated time with you to help you uncover those blind spots and then construct a food and a fitness regimen that works just for you, something that you can get excited about, then your world begins to shift. Then, not only do you wind up losing weight and feeling healthier and feeling more energetic, but then those business ideas that you have begin to take off. Your department, if you're a leader or a manager over a department, your people begin to shine. They feel nurtured. Their productivity increases and improves. Everyone benefits. The company begins to make better profits. Absenteeism, employee absenteeism, and lateness begins to decline. You see, what we're talking about is not just simply counting calories and telling people to eat celery and run like crazy on the treadmill as the key to their success. In my digital wellness practice, we give workshops, trainings, and we stay with you by creating customized solutions, because everyone and their reason for why they're not reaching and performing at their peak and best is different. And once we begin to not only recognize those differences, but ferret them out, identify them, patch the psychological holes, now we have enough strength and we have enough energy that's been released now, because it's not pinned down and buttonholed down by all these other things that were sapping energy. Now we are releasing that energy that was originally diverted off and away back to the person so they can truly focus on what it is that they really need. And this doesn't have to take a long time. This can happen much faster than you think. We use crystal singing bowls and sound therapy. We use EFT tapping. We use sound bath hypnosis and just good old-fashioned psychology, but the right technique. You can read a book. You can read 10 books. There's only one problem with that when you read 10 books and watch 10 videos. It's asynchronous, meaning you're getting the information, but it's in one direction. There's no one there to help and tell you, yes, that technique is right for you, or yes, this technique is right for you, or apply this technique that you learned at this time because of what you have on your plate right now. That is the only problem we talk about asynchronous learning, i.e. a class or i.e. a video or a book. It's great to raise awareness, but it's a poor solution to a pressing problem that is rocking your life to the core right here, right now. And that's what I enjoy. When I was younger, my grandmother on my father's side, Grandma Sarah, she tried to get me into and make me become interested in puzzles. She would buy all sorts of puzzle sets, big and small. She would buy puzzles in the form of, with a picture on the front of an animal. She would buy puzzles in the form of beautiful places all around the world in an effort to get me interested in puzzles. What she didn't know, and what I didn't know at that time was, I do like puzzles. I have a great interest in puzzles, but not those types. I like the dimension and the puzzle of the human mind. And I've got a great success rate of constantly helping people unlock what is often a blind spot for them and helping them not only address the real cause of their back pain, but also what's causing the pain in their lives that's keeping them from accomplishing the goals that they have. And that's why we cover the psychological and educate there. And then once you've moved through that module, once we've created tailor-made solutions for you, then we move you over to the food and the fitness. And fortunately, with me being certified in all the areas I'm covering, we're not covering theory and crossing our fingers like throwing spaghetti up against a wall and hoping that it works. You're working with someone that is actually educated and certified in all the areas that we're covering that are evidence-based approaches and practices. So if this sounds like the missing link that you've been needing, if this is sounding like, I'm tired of trying to cobble together something from over here and take something from over here, maybe I'll read this book over there, maybe I'll watch this video over here, maybe I'll buy this class over here. If you just want it all in one stop shopping, then maybe it's time that we had a conversation. I invite you to reach out to me. Send us over a text at 312-601-8510. That is our corporate number. Thank you guys for watching the Dr. Grant Show. My name is Dr. Kirsten Grant, and the reason why I have this show and the reason why I developed and opened my digital wellness practice is because I lost my mother to food addiction, obesity, and emotional eating. But it wasn't just losing her that hurt the most. It was the constant memories of what led to decisions that were not in her best interest. And these decisions that were not in her best interest came from psychology and mindset not being where they truly needed to be. She was unable to see her true greatness. And because of those decisions, a lot of hurt became the result. And that hurt culminated in her passing, where by the time she passed, she was unable to be buried in a normal size casket. So I've dedicated my life to helping people not only lose weight, but to get healthier psychologically as well as physiologically, by employing all of the latest evidence-based tools that work and customizing and creating plans for people. And through these tailor-made plans and educating people, you finally place your feet on the path and step into the rivers of change. And through those steps, people are eternally transformed, and they're able to achieve their life's dreams, and they're also able to avoid mistakes that they really shouldn't have to experience and avoid pain. So if this sounds like something that you would like to experience, if this is something that you feel like it's time and that you're really worthy of this, that this is truly you, having a life that you can be proud of, waking up and be excited about your day, then reach out to us once again at 312-601-8510. Much love to you. Bye.